All right, what is up, guys? It's Moto for Messiah, and Alex and I are on the way to the gym today. We just got back from church. We went with my parents, tried out a new church. We went to Ripley today instead of going to Life Church, and I thought the message was pretty awesome. I think he did a great job with it. He was talking about control. How as Christians we seek God, but we're a lot of times asking like, hey Father, will you give me the strength to do this, or will you assist me with this or help me with this? But at that time we're asking, hey, will you give me the strength so I can do this myself, or will you assist me in doing this my way? And it's kind of a constant battle in saying like, no, God, like I'm trusting in you, like Jesus, take the wheel, I'm trusting in your plan, but still trying to take control ourselves. And it just kind of put this idea in my head. I love riding wheelies. I love riding motorcycles. I like driving fast cars. And in my opinion, the fastest way to drive a race car on a track is pretty much to let the car drive itself. Any movement that you make, any sudden movement, any jerking, you're losing momentum, you're breaking traction, whatnot. So the fastest and best way to drive that car around the track is going to be letting the car carry its momentum itself, trusting in the car and not yourself as the driver. Or one of my favorite things on bikes is riding wheelies. And you practice riding wheelies, you learn how to ride wheelies, you learn the balance point on a motorcycle, how it feels, and you learn rear brake and trying to keep control of that rear brake to make sure once you start going back too far, if you do, that you don't loop out and you don't flip over. But that feeling that I love on a motorcycle is trusting in the bike and letting the bike ride the wheelie, letting the bike find balance and maintaining that balance on the motorcycle. And it was just a perspective that I thought was interesting, that when you fight that bike and you're trying to make it wheelie, you're trying to make it ride the wheelie, you're not finding the balance in that effortless point of letting it ride the wheelie itself. And the best feeling that you can get is when you let the motorcycle ride itself and find that balance and sit there on that balance. And it's a very scary feeling because you don't have control. The bike has the control. You can rely on trying to grab the rear brake, but ultimately you're trusting in that bike and that balance point, and then it's not going to go too far back, and then it's going to sit there and maintain that angle. And in the car, it's a scary feeling because you're right. You're letting the car drive itself. You're not trusting in your own abilities to go the fastest speed around the track. You're trusting in the car's capabilities of turning and what it'll take, and you're having to let go. And so I just thought it was a pretty good analogy of how scary it is to fully let God take control, but how we have to remind ourselves over and over and keep going back to him and asking him to take control and letting him have it, and fully trusting in that, and not saying, hey, Father God, I want you to help me accomplish this, or help give me just enough strength to do this myself, or help me figure this out. But instead saying, God, this is yours entirely. I am yours entirely, submitting entirely and fully, and letting him take the reins and trusting in his control, fully trusting in that. It's very scary. It's something I'm going to have to go to him constantly and keep asking him, like, oh, hey, I caught myself. Go ahead and take control again. Because it's something that you're constantly falling out of because you get scared and you get worried and you have these things influencing you, and temptation and Satan distracting you and all these worldly things. But anyways, it's not a very long message. It was just a perspective that popped into my head, and I felt I don't know, it was on my spirit, and I felt like sharing that with you guys. So hopefully it's a different perspective for you guys to think about things if you're into bikes and cars and stuff. Anyways, I pray you guys have a good weekend. You're having a good weekend. Hopefully you got to church. But God bless, guys, and I'm gonna go try to get a pump in for Jesus today. I'm out.